Hashtag facts. Scout rifles have always been exclusively bad. Almost every single one of them is top-tier trash, and I do mean that genuinely. It's no secret that might have fell out of the Crucible meta forever ago, but if you look hard enough, you're still bound to find a bag of sweat, or two, desperately clinging to the shadow of days long past. Symmetry is nothing special either, save for its perk, which I will admit was unique at best, and Polarant's Lance was kinda cool if you could overlook the fact that it was a scout and wasn't really the world's best damage dealer either. All in all, they just kinda left a bad taste in my mouth. Honestly, there's only ever been two scouts in Destiny that have ever really grabbed my attention and managed to keep it, those being Night Watch and Nameless Midnight. Midnight died with the initial sunset, and Night Watch could only do so much, unfortunately. Really kinda depends on the role you get overall. Just like any other gun, barrel attachments can be a make it or break it kinda deal. But we got a new quest only a few short days ago, and oh boy, let me tell you kids, I got a real bad feeling about this one. But it's a good kind of bad feeling, if that makes any sense. It's one of those feelings that makes you want to take a Viagra and then... Baker, do me a favor and cut that out. That is sure to chap someone's ass, and I don't need anyone from Gen Z getting me demonetized. Ultimately, this new quest led us to the Glycon, upon which we retrace the steps of a very dead guardian, ripped straight out of The Last of Us, complete with all that cordyceps spongy fungus. I guess we may as well get the quest guide out of the way now. We can take a look at the gun afterward. I like to keep things in an orderly fashion, which ironically is the exact opposite of how I handle my mental health. Everybody already knows where to get the quest flag. It's in the arms dealer at the start of the strike/ordeal, whichever you want. For the sake of anyone who hasn't managed to get around to this yet, here's how you go get it. First, you're gonna load into the strike. Easy, right? Next, you exterminate everything that dares to even so much as breathe in your general direction. After that, you'll head through this door. It's a straight hallway full of a bunch of turrets. If you somehow manage to get lost in here, I am sorry your parents never loved you enough to teach you basic navigational skills, such as how to walk in a straight line. It's not complicated, so don't at me in the comments. Next, there's a wannabe boss target. Light him up, make him wish he'd never been born. After that, jump across the chasm, head to the storage container, and bam, you've gotten the quest flag. After that, you'll head back to the tower and have a short convo with the Brick, otherwise known as Zavala. He gives you a mission called Presage, or Presage, whatever, I don't know how to say it and I don't care, which you can now start. It's located in the top left corner of the map in the Tangled Shore. Before we get into this, hear me out real quick. I do guides a bit differently than most other creators. My craft requires a layer of longevity and depth, so we're gonna go through this as quickly but as thoroughly as possible. If you just want to get this over with quick and you don't want to learn any of the mechanics, that's fine. No harm, no foul. But if that's the case, this is definitely not the video for you. I'd recommend taking a gander at either Aztec or Dado's channels. Anyway, let's get back on track. After a cutscene that's sure to induce a slight erection, the mission will begin. You'll start out on the boarding platform on a ship in space called the Glycon. Immediately, you're going to take a left and you're going to see some platforms barely within your jumping distance. That's where we're headed. The path is very straightforward. You'll jump across the gap and you'll hug the wall around the ship. Easy stuff. You'll see platforms that ascend, which you will climb, and then you'll cross another gap. It is physically impossible to miss the entrance. You'll see what I mean. Once you're inside the ship, it's a simple task of just following the road. Even with all the winding corridors and such, it's mostly pretty straightforward. You can't really get lost in here. The game essentially leads you to exactly where you need to be in the beginning, so unless you're looking for data pads and secrets, don't break any of the vents until you get out of the red hallway. This is the first vent in the blue room that you actually have to break, so blast it and move on through. Once you're through the ventilation system, there's going to be a switch to open the door that leads back out to the boarding platform. Honestly, I have absolutely no idea why that's there, so I guess just hit it for good measure and move on. Next, you're introduced to a recurring mechanic of this mission. I like to refer to it as goo running because I can't pronounce that word and I'm not even going to try. All you need to do is just blast the cyst, and after it breaks, it's going to give you a buff. That buff allows you to enter zones sealed off by resonating darkness. So just blast it, walk on through, and follow me on screen. It's real easy to get disoriented down here, but just follow me on screen and you'll be fine. I did this mission 7,499 times just for this video, so I got a real good idea as to where I'm going. You need to go up. Climb the platforms and follow the hallway all the way down to the end. This will take you to a very specific vent, one that you need to break, and you're going to climb through it. You're going to land on another platform. There's one on both sides of the room that you're in, but first things first, you're going to take a right and then immediately get ambushed by screams that take way too much punishment for my liking. After granting the Screeps the sweet release of death, you're going to follow the hallway in that same room. At the end of it, you'll see a switch. A thing to remember about switches on this godforsaken ship is that they always, and I do mean always, open doors. And this one specifically opens a door that was behind you when you climbed down here to begin with. Which means it's time to make another jump, so follow me. You're gonna run into some more Screeps in here. If this mission has taught me anything, it's how to hate them. Climb up this platform and deal with the Screeps that are up there as well. Delete them from the game world and then hightail it across the next chasm. When you land, you're gonna see a fuse. They are everywhere and you can't miss them. All you have to do is just shoot them. So blast it into oblivion and then we'll continue. Again, more Screeps. Show them how much you hate them and then... God, I hate Screeps. After murdering all of the Screeps, there's a switch you're gonna need to hit. It's right here, and it's gonna open the door on the other side of the room, the one that's on the top. There's another large gap you need to cross once that door is open. Jump across and hit the switch, and then head back where you came from. The door below the one you just went through is now open, and there's a fuse that you gotta destroy. So break it and let's continue. Beneath the gap you just crossed, there's a platform. You've jumped it twice already. The fuse you busted activates that platform, and it takes you to an area that I guarantee you're gonna die in at least once. Welcome to the first part of this mission that I can't get through alone. You should now find yourself in the trash compactor, which is arguably the worst part of this entire mission. Even worse than the final boss, who is debatably one of the most annoying jockstraps in Destiny history. So here's how you get through this. At the end of the trash compactor, there's a switch. Once you hit it, the floor is gonna open up, which reveals a multitude of vents. Some of them have fuses in them. You need to break those fuses. This opens up a cubby hole in the floor that you can slip through. There's only 3 fuses, and this is the best shot I was able to get of all 3. There's one mid-left, another mid-center, and another all the way down at the end. It's just covered by a vent at the moment. An army of Screeps will spawn in to make sure that you cuck this up as much as possible, so get ready to die at least once. I die every single time I come in here. It never fails. Oh yeah, did I mention that the walls are closing in to smash you like they did in Star Wars? I forget what episode it was. Whatever. Walls equal death. Break the fuses before you get smashed. Then climb through the hole in the floor and we'll move on. So this is what you've been waiting for. Real combat. There's a truckload of those guys that have the lanterns. I can't remember their names. Whatever. The dickheads with the lanterns. You want to handle them first because they will swarm you, and if you die here, you will get sent back to the trash compactor. Once they're all dead, handle the snipers and the shielded targets and be on your way. It's a straight shot down the hallway to the next encounter, and this one is no joke. Again with the lantern dickheads, but this time with Screeps and an entire Scorn army, including those giant Scorn ogre things. I can't remember their names. Whatever, kill them. By now, I'm sure you've noticed that everything in here has a resoundingly large amount of health. This rings true for the ogres as well. Abominations, that's what they're called. Abominations. Not even Celestial is gonna one-shot them. It'll chunk them, sure, but the easiest way to handle the abominations is from a long range. Expect to die in here at least once, and don't corner yourself either. There's lots of exploder units that exist only to box you in and blow you up. Here's a few clips of how badly I struggled with my first solo run. Honestly, that's the worst encounter in this entire mission, if you ask me. Not even rivaled by the final boss fight. I need to sit down for a minute. This was a cluster of mob targets unlike anything I have ever seen before. This was incredible. My wrists, carpal tunnel syndrome, everything hurts. Either way, once you finally finish ripping and tearing through all those Scorn nobodies, we're heading back out into space for a second. We're nearly at the end now. Just a few more goo running sections and then you'll be at the end. So, inside this hangar is a ship. You're gonna climb that ship. From there, you'll be able to see a vent that you need to crawl through. Go under the pipes and through the hole. Like most of this, it's all a straight shot. So you're here. You've made it. Welcome to the final stretch. There's another switch here. It opens the door directly next to it. We're using this to make it to the next room over. There's a door on the opposite side of this room. Cross through it. First things first, you need to indiscriminately slaughter all of these goddamn Screep, which I have learned how to hate. over the course of this mission. Next, hit this switch. It's going to open a door that leads to a fuse near the entrance of the room that you're in. That fuse is going to reset after you break it. It's also going to briefly shut off the electrical barrier in the room above you. So back up near the switch, shoot the fuse, and climb up. There's a switch up here you need to hit. It's going to open up a door that is directly under you. Inside it is yet another collection of cysts. Blast them and then follow me on screen. After that, you're going to have another mini encounter. Show him who's boss and then head up to the switch near the giant hole in the floor. This switch is going to open up a door that is beneath you, and inside it is a turret ready to fill you with lead if you're not expecting it. So take out the turret and destroy the fuse that's behind it. That fuse is going to open up this door right here. Inside it is another growth of cysts, and we're going to use those to slip through the giant hole in the floor. Congratulations, now you're in the vents. Again. Welcome to the last stupid thing you need to do before you make it to the final encounter. All you need to do is bust open this vent. Again, and then there's a growth of cysts behind it. Again, shoot it and then follow me on screen. This switch is going to unlock one final door. You're going to turn around and then you're going to jump back out. And now we're going to use these cysts one more time to cross through one last door. After crossing through the next goo door, you're going to run into more of those godforsaken screebs, complete with great value ogres and more of the lantern dickheads. I died in here, that's why the footage got cut. Once everything's dead, go to the back of the room and hang a left. You'll see a switch on the wall. Once you hit it, turn around and you'll see a hole in the wall. That fuse is going to open up another door all the way over here, and we're going to use the cysts that are inside to cross through another goo door. For now, skip the growth of cysts next to you. Instead, follow me on screen. We got some mobs we gotta get rid of, and there's a switch you gotta hit. You always want to get rid of the trash mobs first, more or less because they can 100% kill you mid-jump, especially with those rifles they got. They hit like a truck, so you may as well just get them out of the way now. Less problems for later. So once these pricks are dead, you're gonna jump up and you're gonna hit the switch, and another turret is gonna try to cuck you. Honestly, I have no idea what that switch actually does. I really think it's just there to be a dick in the eye for anybody on their first run through. Once you're done with that, turn around and head back the same way you came. On your way back down, you'll see a fuse. This one, right here. Blast that, and the door to the right of it is gonna open up. Inside that door, there's another cyst growth, and you'll need it because there's barely enough time to slip through the next goo door without rebuffing. Like always, just follow on screen. This is home stretch, kids. Let's get this over with. Welcome to the second worst part of this mission, the final boss. And yes, he's a lantern dickhead. What a surprise. There's a rally point on the ground. I strongly recommend Anarchy if you have it. Either that or Izanagi, something you can chunk with hard. I stuck with the tri-shot golden gun. As a result, I'm inclined to recommend Celestial Nighthawk as well because the damage is absolutely necessary here. So here's how this works. Waves of trash mobs are going to spawn in, plenty of lantern dickheads and a few jock straps with solar shields. The boss is going to harass you until you deal enough damage, so prioritize what you're damaging. After you hit him hard enough, he's going to teleport away like a little pansy. This is where the fight changes. There are 3 switches you have to hit in order to get under the arena, which is where he's at. There's one at the room entrance, there's another one at the opposite side of the room facing the first one, and lastly, the 3rd switch is in the boiler room. You're hitting the switches because they control the coolant pumps. You can't go down there without taking constant burn damage until you hit all 3. Hit the switches, drop down to the lower level, and give him what for. The boilers will stay off until you damage him for a third of his health. This is the entire fight mechanic, which is why I suggested something that can chunk. Once the boss shuts off the coolant pumps, you've only got a couple seconds to get back up top. Climb back up, and the entire mechanic will rinse and repeat. easy. I know I said that this was a hard boss, but honestly, as long as you continually jump back up to the top level when he starts getting too close for comfort, you can just head to the opposite side of the arena and drop down again. In my own experience, I found that if you hit him with a golden gun and then a rocket, 9 times out of 10 that's gonna chunk him for a third of his health. You'll jump back up to the top, rinse, repeat on ads, and with high enough intellect builds, you'll already have another golden gun ready by the time you're finished resetting the switches. Honestly, the trash mobs are the biggest problem, until netcode makes them teleport to you and one-shot you. I was pretty chapped about that. The run that this footage came from was flawless until that happened. So once the battle is finished and the dust has settled, jump back up to the top. A new door is open, and it'll take you to that very dead guardian I mentioned at the beginning of this video. Steal the rifle, listen to a full minute of Osiris yammering on about nothing, and then head back to the tower. It's time to have another short convo with Mr. Brick, and then the rifle is yours. Congratulations. I have now done this mission 7,500 times simply for the sake of this video. If it doesn't perform, then I think honorable Sudoku may be in order. Either that or the development of a terrible drinking habit. Not sure which yet.